Well, this is the circle around the tree. I mean, this is just really strange. Just thinking if there's any others right here. I mean, look, it went all the way around and then around this. And I don't see any others in this area. That's just crazy to me. How deep it goes and round and around. All right. I'm headed back into an area I've been many times. Usually there's always some kind of action. This is where the sticks were thrown at me. It was up further, but this is the area. This isn't where the screams were, though. Those were probably another 10 miles to the southwest. A little higher up, 8,500 feet. I need to get me a GPS that gives me not only location, but I could find something that gave me elevation. That would be awesome. Sometimes you come across things that you never expect. For the most part, that happens to me almost every time. It seems, anyway. I've got a stabilizer. I bought it 2 years ago, I think. And it's too big, and I don't know, maybe I'll have my son film me walking around, although he's still too young. I mean, he's only 11. But when I'm out doing this, I love it. I absolutely love doing this. Yeah, and the other thing too is in this area, there's a lot of mountain lion. Last thing a guy wants is come up on a mother and her cub. See, there's some bone there. It'd be okay if I found small critters have been chewing on it. It'd be okay if I came across a few horns. It doesn't happen for me very often. And I'm gonna put horns up. Ooh, there's a dead head, or a head. You know, I think that's an elk or a deer. I'm gonna take these teeth, and I actually wished I had my backpack. I would bring that. Anyway, there's no sense of leaving it out here. It's just gonna rot away. I get a lot of people that give me grief on things that, you know, everybody's got their own opinions, and I respect that. You know, a lot of people think Sasquatch are vegetarian or don't eat meat in any way, and I disagree with that completely. For them to be as big as they are and to live in these kind of areas where really there's just game. There's some berries and there's pine nuts, which this year is going to be a lot of pine nuts. I'm excited. But to maintain that size and the strength and to be able to climb or run anywhere, you've got to have protein. I mean, there's other ways to get protein, but beans and other ants and termites and stuff like that, but that wouldn't hold me over for 5 seconds, and I can't imagine them. But everybody has their own opinion, and I respect it, you know. And I'm sure they're a lot like people, where, you know, how people are different in many ways. I'm sure one solution doesn't fit all of them. That's for sure. Thought I could hear something. Not the thunder, something else. Huh. Anyway, I'll turn it back on in a minute. Yeah, and I came up and came across this little area that's got some cliffs, maybe a cave or two, who knows. Yeah, it doesn't look that promising. It's pretty small. Hard to say. I keep hearing something. It's the worst time to be out here with spring with baby mountain lions. But, you know, I do have my gun, which is good. But that doesn't always fix the problem. Look at this cactus. These are pretty. It's crazy that these kind of things grow at 8,000 feet. I keep hearing something flanking me. That last time it was loud. Like it jumped. Been a lot of runoff up here this year, more than I've ever seen. There's been a lot. I mean, I like these formations, you know. You don't see this very often. Makes you wonder. The other thing too is earlier when I was, it's weird, when I was, is that a head? When I was driving to come out here, there's a head. Ooh, look at that in that tree. Holy crap, this was some kind of a totem or some kind of a structure that they made. Never seen this one before. Kind of creepy. Anyway, I was telling you, I came driving out on the road from my cabin to drive to get further up here, and I decided I wanted to go look for an arrowhead. So I started looking around for an arrowhead, and all of a sudden there's this, I don't know what it was. I've got a little bit of footage that I'll share, but it was like a trailer, like one of those boxcar trailer things sitting there with the generator going, but there's no road in. And I don't know if it wasn't a boxcar, it just had the shape similar to that. It's a big old track. I don't know if you can see that or not. Big. There's a bone right there. Wow. Something's trailing me. So anyway, there's no road in. I went all the way around where it was on roads, and there was no road into that place. But I heard somebody tinkering around doing something, and it's not private property. It's BLM ground. I thought, well, maybe somebody came in here to camp, but there's no road in. It's almost like it got dropped from a chopper or something. Look at that little rabbit. See that little guy? What you doing, little buddy? Right there. See him? You scared? You scared, huh? You don't have to be scared. That's pretty cute. But I've never really seen that kind of thing where there's somebody there, yet there's no way in. And that thing was big. It was like the size of 2 box carts on a train, but it wasn't box carts. It had a skirt kind of around it, like a solar skirt. I don't know. I just know that's way too close to my cabin, and there's no way in. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to go talk to Dave or some local and find out what he knows about it, because did you hear that? Shit. Okay. That big X over there. I can find it on here. There it is, right there. I don't know. Right. I know it's loud with me walking around in here, but you can always tell when something's trailing you. I don't have my son here to see him. Yeah, this is... I need to come back up in here with like a full day and just start in the morning and go as far as I can. If I keep going and I follow this range, it leads to the place where we got rushed. I haven't been back there since. There's bones there. You know, it's just, there's a lot of... I found a shoe up here last time I was up here, kid's shoe, just nowhere out in the blue. I mean, I can see somebody leaving a shoe at a campground, forget the shoe, blah, blah, blah. But when you're walking in this crap, you're not going to forget your shoe. There's just a lot of... There's a bed deer laid down in. I don't think that's an elk. It's not big enough. Those circular things were strange, weren't they? And those things that they go around the tree. I'd like to find more of those, but I haven't seen any. Cute little brook. Down here where I'm setting up some of my trail cams. Ooh. Dang. It's slick. I'm filming again in the area I've been in before. This was never here last time I came in here. Great big old backbone. Huh. Interesting. Weird place for it too. There's a little bit more of it. It's almost like it got spread around. Coyotes and stuff probably drug it after it was killed. Who knows? These little rock piles sometimes are weird. I mean, it's been, what, 2 years, 3 years since I've been down in here. This is actually the area where I heard the screaming. And it was almost this time of the year. It was the end of August. It's not quite August 1st yet. So, just never know. Just a unique area. There used to be pottery shards down here like 2 years ago. I can't remember where they are. That's all right, there's plenty of other things to find. Okay, now this is weird. Look, that tree was alive when it snapped off up there. It's about 10 feet tall. Wow. That's just weird. Strange goings on. I need to bring my trail cam up here. Look at this trail that runs up through here. Both ways. Just a big old trail. Just set it up on some of these trees. Heck yeah. Might be a good place to hunt too. I'll have to do that next week. It all seems different to me now. It's been such a long time ago. And it really wasn't that long ago, but I don't remember those trails being so pronounced. But man, they are. A lot of deer and elk and other predators, I'm sure. Looking for them. I was up in here on the other side of that ridge over there when I started getting screamed at. I didn't know what to do, so I turned my camera on and started freaking out. Even though now it wouldn't. Yeah, it would. Anytime you hear that scream, I don't care if you've heard it 100 times, it gets you. Gets you hard. I gotta get my trail cam. Get up in here. There's a lot of animal life up in here. Anyway. It's like they put these obstacles up so that the deer required and the elk to go on trails. Similar to this little one. They're kind of guided. And wherever the ambush point is, I don't want to be there. It's a really cool area. It's creepy as hell, but I mean, you couldn't see it 30 yards away. Anyway, see, I've got this smell right now. It's really different. First I thought it was like an elk, but then it had a sweet dead smell to it. But it's not as skunky as the others I've smelled. It's a different smell. I don't know what the heck that was. I can't smell it right now. Anyway, it's freaky. Kind of looks like the print right there, but there's no others on either side. Look at this creepy old trailer. Way back here. How in the hell did it get to this spot? There's no road. I don't think it's been used in years. I'm not going to go into it. If there's no keep out signs. No fire pit. I mean, it just went through all the weeds and everything to get here. Or the sagebrush. There is no road. Oh my hell. I'm insane. You can't even see this. Got fishing poles. I don't know whose this is, and I don't know how it got here. This is right next to the other property I own. No, not right next to it, but it's... What's this? Oh, it's light. The camp stove. I'm gonna leave it there. Oh, just rats infested. Oh, holy shit. Alright. I think I've seen enough. Wonder what the hell. What the hell? This isn't even a property. It's like 5 miles away from my property, my other property, not my big cabin. What does it say? Peace. The Love Shack. Wow. Some of the things I find out here just blow my mind. I need to look in that front box. Just rats' nests. Battery. Anyway. I was out here hiking around, and I can smell death right now. Really, really strong. Can't smell it here. It's back there. Anyway, if I find something, I'll get back on here. This is the time of day. It's the evening. It's creepy. Everything's starting to get dark. Plus, it's about to rain on top of that. You can hear, like, super good. And there's nothing. A few little birds. And even they stopped. I mean, it's dense. And there's some openings like that. I love getting out in here. You can still hear those nighthawks. Huh. Just deathly quiet. Anyway, I'll get back on here when something is interesting. I'm going in here. It's quite a hike. I'm going to set up my trail cams on a couple of these well-used trails to see what's going on. Yeah, it's a hike, and it's remote, and it's thick, and yeah, I have a gun. I'd go nowhere without it. I think in this area, at least in the past, I thought there was a reason that they were in here thicker than normal. It might be like a nursery area, but I don't know how that works. If they're like us, it really doesn't matter when. So it's hard to say. I think, I don't know. I've listened to a lot of different stories, and a lot of the conclusion is, I don't know. I'm not sure anybody knows exactly the reproduction process of the Sasquatch. You know, it's just, I mean, because for women, it's monthly. But for Sasquatch, what is it? Yearly? I don't know. It's just one of those things that probably never find out. What I do want to find out is Well, I'd like to find out everything I can about them, including the way they migrate, if they migrate. I know, like with humans, you throw us in any situation and we'll adapt, which makes me think they will too. So that's why you hear these stories about down south and on the East Coast. We always knew they were in the West Coast, but they've adapted. You know, I wonder what their total numbers are. You know, who knows? I mean, I'm sure it's not tremendous, but it may have grown over time, depending on their adaptability. Getting run out of certain areas, growing in others, living next to man. Anyway, just some food for thought. I've been thinking about stuff like that. You know, I wish it wasn't so far in here. Not looking forward to going back. But I do love the smell after a rain. Just hope it doesn't rain on me. It's really quiet though. Awful quiet. Not even a raven or a bird. It's just strange. I don't know. Maybe we'll find something cool. I remember I did find some structures in here. One of them looked like a totem pole. I don't remember where it's at. Anyway, I'll put you back on if I find anything interesting. See, these are the kind of things, hang on. These are the kind of things that make you wonder if they don't put those blocks like that up to direct the deer to go where they're hiding. You know? I mean, they could hide behind any of these trees and nothing or nobody would see them. You might be able to smell them though. I don't know. Walking along here, I think this is one of the old structures that I found a while ago. Looks like it hasn't been upkept or hasn't been added to. Just strange down through here. There was a totem here somewhere. I can't remember where it was at. Wish I could find it, see if they've done anything to it. Well, I'm not sure. Anyway. All right, I'll keep you posted. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story. This is what happened to me on my way back from Poland. I was over there trying to help my wife get her visa. It's the only place she can get it because if you live in Russia or Belarus, they don't have U.S. embassies. But anyway, so I'm there, and it's time to leave. So I go and get on the plane. My wife books the flight. She likes the window, so she thought I would. So I'm sitting next to the window. And lo and behold, Sasquatch comes and sits down next to me. Guy's about 7 foot tall, 450 pounds. Hairy as a bear. Had hair, much hair on his arms as he did on his legs, and he wore shorts and a tank top. So I was dealing with a lot of fur. And every time he'd fall asleep, his leg would touch mine, and I'd shudder and wake him up. Or his arm would touch mine, and I'd squish to the side. And he could have sat, he had kids and a wife. He could have had his wife sit there, or one of his kids, but no, he has to sit next to me. And I mean, that flight was a living hell. So I'm pretty much done with flying. I mean, it almost makes you think, now I know why people fly first class. I mean, my hell. That was just, I can't deal with that much hair. Just a hairy bastard. I couldn't do it. Can't do it again. That's just not going to happen. Anyway, that's just my crazy story. Okay. We're out trying to find this secondary house that's supposed to be out here. And it's really hard to find. We went to the trailer. We'll go back to that. It's an abandoned trailer that's brutal. Makes you wonder why in the hell anyone would ever do that. But then sometimes again, who knows? It's a Monday. You can't hear anything. No birds, no nothing. Anyway, I'll keep you updated. This is an old house of some kind that we came upon. It's in the middle of nowhere, literally. I mean, you can't really use much of it because it's just hammered and there's no ownership of any kind. It just makes you wonder who comes out here and hides. It makes no sense to me. Got some kind of latrine or something, I don't know. Anyway, I'm headed in to see if I can retrieve that last trail cam that I couldn't find up here. I'm sure it would have a lot of stuff on it by now. The thing is, it gets so thick that it's hard to know exactly where you're going. I mean, if you didn't know this country, you could get lost in 20 minutes. But I grew up in this kind of stuff, and I've lived and have my cabin up in this kind of stuff. It's high, they call it a high desert, but it's really not. It's a ponderosa pinyon type forest with aspen and some fir the further up you get. But this sets at about 85, well, about 8,000 feet where I'm at now, but it goes up to about 9 at the top. So it's not low in elevation. It's just a different part of the landscape, that's all. I love hunting this area. I love living in it. You got about every kind of tree, every kind of animal, and in this area especially, it's loaded with deer and elk and also mountain lion because of that. And so sometimes you have to be a little careful. I've never had one come at me, but you know, I think most of the time when they do come after somebody, it's usually they're injured or they've got cubs. But like with the thickness of the trees and the way that it's set up in here, I mean, you could, even if you were 8 or 9 feet tall, you could stay hidden, walk through this all day long if you knew your trails. I think the mine shafts, and I know I say I'm going to go up to the mine shafts all the time, but they're so far away. But I think they are a key in this whole thing. Some of them may even link up together. Who knows? But one of these days, soon, because now it's cooling off. Hunt's underway in some areas up here. Trophy bulls. Spike hunt's coming up a week. I do have a tag for that, so I don't know. They've limited the tag so much because so many people hear about one thing and then everybody's got to get a tag. You used to be able to go and get a tag over the counter, even during the hunt. Now you got like a 2-hour window to get your tag or you're out. And luckily I got one. Because of winter kill up here last year and other reasons, they dropped the tags 2/3. I mean, the hunt's probably going to be okay, but it used to be just a cakewalk. But this gets rid of all the people that, you know, first Saturday afternoon, I'm going to go out and shoot some stuff. It gets rid of all those people. So I keep it this way for all I care. I don't care for all the people up here. I mean, there's not that many where I go because I get off the beaten path a long ways. But there's still people that are going to go anywhere. And you can see all those big elk tracks. I mean, they're everywhere. I could sit and just go show you elk tracks. There's deer in here too, but not as many as there is elk. I mean, I got deer coming into my place and elk. The elk don't come in this time of the year because of the hunts. And the deer, I have a couple of does that sneak in at night. I catch on trail cam. And they stay in my property. They don't jump the fence. They don't do anything. They just stay. Because they know nobody's getting in. Plus I put out drain and stuff. See, there's another big elk track. And those are all fresh. See, sometimes these leans like this, cutting off a trail, make me wonder if they're set this way for ambush purposes, not for men, for Sasquatch. I mean, we know they're not stupid. We know they're strong, smart, and don't really keep to any one location all the time. See that elk trail. All right, now I gotta find my cam. Hang on, I'll put you back on in a second. I mean, look at this trail. The elk just funnel down this thing. I gotta find my camera. This is what I say when I say big bull. Look how fresh that is. It just shredded. I mean, all the way down. Because of the rut. Sharpening his horns or whatever they do. Getting ready. See these things that are pulled down that are about 10 feet tall? Makes you wonder what the crap. I don't know. I don't know how if I can't find it on this round, somebody stole it. At least it was the least in the least resolution. I don't know. No, there's another. I said it just off trail. Just there's supposed to be another trail that kicks over. I'm not seeing it. I mean, it sucks because the tracks in here are insane. This is exactly where they're going. I just can't. I just don't get it. You know? And there it is. Can you believe that? How lucky is that, my friends? This is up higher on the mountain. Just going through here. Nobody goes through here. Maybe find I don't know, an old horn or something. Let's get some movement. This is the mountain those screams came from. I've had movement up here too. I've been tracked. Scared out of my wits. Sometimes I don't even know why I do this. Adrenaline, mostly. Hell, I don't know anymore. There's a lot of animals on this mountain, especially at this altitude. It's a cool old tree. Surprised I haven't jumped a few, and I probably have. It's just because I've been talking. They probably jumped a while ago. But what's funny is when I hear myself being flanked, I'm usually talking. And so I know exactly that isn't an elk or a deer. Looks like something laid down right there. Yeah. It's just one of those things where you love to do it, you just hope you don't come across something you can't unsee. You know? People get lost all the time. I'm gonna get a shoe full of fox tails, but if I see anything, I'll post you. I'm walking this area of the property, trying to locate as much garbage as I can because the contractors were just a mess. I mean, I'm picking up pieces of paper, tarp, carton of eggs. See, I can get a few deer laying down in here. There's two that stay on the property because I'll show you the fence. See, like this kind of garbage? I'll start picking it up on the way back. This is my fence line. And so you can see those deer feel pretty safe once they get in here. They can jump that. Elk can jump that. But they don't really want to. So the ones that come in through the back gate that I leave open, there's food and salt lick and everything. They don't even want to leave. So, and we don't harass them. Anyway, just kind of see that pole out there. My property line goes, it should be back to that pole all the way over there, but I haven't changed the fence line yet. Okay, now you see this? This is what I mean when I said if something big came in here and wanted to just put their arm down and jump over, they could. But to bend those posts like that, it's one thing to bend the wire, but the posts, no, not happening. So I'm going to tell you guys a story. Remember how I was talking about that person leaving those clothes and blankets and all that crap? Not only on my not on my property line, but in other places, down in the wash, other areas. Well, come to find out, she was living with her husband and they were like hiding from the law, I think, or something. But Dave, the guy that lives up here, you know, he gets lonely. He's 78 years old. He let him live on his property in an old trailer. Well, one day they asked him if they could, you know, borrow his truck, which he did. He let him borrow the truck and they crashed it. Said they'd fix it. They never did. Then he let him borrow his 410 shotgun to learn how to shoot. Well, he left for a walk one day while they were going to practice shooting, and he heard 3 shots. He came back. The lady had shot the guy 3 times point blank, killed him. And she took off running, and Dave was going to go after her, you know, and he was driving down the road, and she's running down the road without a shirt on with his gun, turns around and starts to come towards him. And so he freaks out and turns back around and goes on the loop route to get out of here and drives to a city, the closest city, which is 50 miles, and calls the police. Well, there's a big, you know, manhunt for this woman who gave up. But the thing is, and they're gone now, but they left his area like a homeless camp. I mean, there's sheets draped over trees. There's a couple of trailers that look like they just got, you know, pulled out of the dump. And he's missing. And he usually always comes here and bothers me. Every day about 1 o'clock, I see him. Well, I haven't seen him, so I went down there. And it was so messed up. And the doors were open. His dogs looked like they were starving. But I wasn't sure what to do. And all the doors on the trailers were open. I was honking because he's kind of deaf. And he just never came back out. There's another guy that lives over here pretty close that always goes over and gives them food and pays attention to the dogs, but he's not been up here either. So it's been a crazy month up here. Crazy. And it's weird because my four-wheeler broke down, and I'm including a video of me hauling it with my tractor. All I needed was somebody to drive it so I could pull it. Nobody. There was nobody up here. I went to every house that was within 30 miles, and there's nobody. That's why I ended up going to Dave's. It's kind of eerie when you're up here by yourself, and the people that you've seen up here every once in a while aren't around either. You know, I'm not saying there's foul play or anything like that with Dave. I mean, he's messy, but this was beyond messy. I'm gonna try to get some footage. I just don't like those dogs. They jump up on my truck, and I don't know. If they haven't been fed, they're gonna start exploring other places to go. And the other guy that lives up here that said he'd feed him hasn't been here, so I don't know. I might have to go check on them too. Anyway, I'm not trying to drag everybody down, but it's just been one of those weeks where I had all these plans to go film and, you know, do all this stuff, and the only thing I was able to do is go out and find my trail cam, which I've included on here. There's some huge elk on it and a bunch of deer. It's just been really crazy. But anyway, I've got a lot of stuff down at the cabin, so I'll talk to you later. I'm only putting this on because some people do like hunting for arrowheads. Me, I love it. I know for some it's boring as hell, but you never know what you're gonna find. It's not always just arrowheads. There's a bone, some kind. I mean, I don't film every time I go out looking for arrowheads because the whole video would be arrowhead hunting. It's like an addiction. Once you get one or two perfect ones, you're hooked. It's like crack addict getting that first buzz, and you're always trying to get it back, and it never happens. But you do find more. It just gets harder and harder to find them the way you want. I mean, to find a perfect one is very rare because usually they're not left if it's perfect. I mean, if it hits an animal, the animal runs off and dies, and then the arrowhead's, you know, the wood disintegrates, and then there's the arrowhead. That's different, but that's rare. Usually they're chipping it and they break it. See, like there's a piece. See, that almost looks like an arrowhead right there, but it's not. You can see the other side's all curved and bent. Especially when it's overcast and it's just rained, then everything glitters, so it's easier to find them. And there's no dust on them, or, you know, they're shining. And most of them that I find out here are obsidian, but not always. I found some red ones. I found some rainbow. I don't even know what the stone was that they made. It was flint, but I don't know what kind of flint it was. It was all colorful. Very cool. But again, one of the horns at the bottom where they tie it to the arrow was broken off, so They just left it. I can't even imagine having to live that way. It'd be so hard. I'll lift it up a little bit in case something does show up. Usually where I arrowhead hunt, there's a nighthawk. Usually not where I go search for sign of Bigfoot. That's way up higher. But they're not, they've been down in here, that's for sure. They've been at my cabin. I'm a little bit higher up than this, but not a whole lot. It's just quartz. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time filming because I've got a lot of other footage to put on here. So anyway,